Welcome to another episode of Systematic Geekology. This is a space where we seek to create and cultivate healthy conversations between those things we geek out on and the philosophical and theological questions that often arise out of our fandoms. Like, what does it mean to be human? What makes a hero? What makes a villain? How do the stories and narratives we geek out on shape how we live in the world? We are your priest to the geeks. We aren't all ordained, but we see ourselves as mediators at the intersection of geek culture and going deeper in our faith. We don't always have to agree, but we do respect each other, and we see everyone as a beloved child of God. Everyone geeks out on something, so come geek out with us and enjoy the show.
You're listening to an Anazao Ministries podcast. If a hero is only as good as his companions, are the companions only as good as the hero? Well, we're going to be talking about that in a lot more in this episode of Systematic Geekology, Take 2.
I feel like I've heard this before.
Well, I needed a companion to remind me to hit record. And that's why I'm here with one and only Christian Ashley. I am Joshua Noel, and we have a really fun, different, unique episode planned for you guys. We're going to be competing in this episode to see who can come up with the best team of 7 sidekicks or companions. They're going to be 1 Doctor Who companion, 1 Star Wars apprentice or Padawan, 1 Star Trek blue shirt, a superhero sidekick, an anime or animation companion character, an animal sidekick, and 1 wildcard companion that each of us can pick. And the fun twist, our other friends, hosts of the show, Will Rose and TJ Blackwell, got together and came up with a secret mission, an email we have not opened yet. And we're going to see how well each of our teams that we come up with can do on the mission. It could be form a prayer group. It could be defeat Galactus. It could be travel to hell and prove the hearkening of hell. We don't know. We have no idea what this mission could be, but we're going to put together a team that we think could handle anything. And that's the competition. It's going to be a lot of fun. So hang in there with us.
But do you know why we still don't know?
Because my companion forgot to remind me to record.
Oh, sure. Make this my fault. You know why I didn't know? Because I have that covered up right now with the outline. I can't see that.
Well, guys, I'm Joshua Noel. I'm here with the one and only companion to God himself, Master of Divinity, Christian Ashley. Thank you for joining me multiple times for the same episode.
You know what? If I had to be with someone else, I guess you're not the worst.
Oh, man, this is going to be a fun one. First things first, let's talk. Mention what we've been geeking out on, because I have no idea what you've been geeking out on lately.
No,
Christian.
none whatsoever. This is going to be fresh to both our ears.
What do you help me out?
All right. So I am going to throw an anti-geeking out recommendation out there. As in Fallout 4 just have a new release as far as the anniversary edition, which has introduced a lot of new bugs, stopped a bunch of mods from working, caused problems with hardware. It's not fun. I'm not big on it. I really wish these companies would just, make more games rather than re-releasing the same product over and over again. So, true. Yes. And, the best thing I can say is I didn't buy any of it. I already have it, so I don't need to waste my money. I'll put it that way.
Hooray. Speaking of things they've made over and over again, I've been playing Skyrim on Steam Deck. And I'm not like trying real hard going into the story. My brother just finished it and then was telling me, he was like, oh yeah, I just played through Skyrim again. And it's about that time. So I picked it up. I'm just kind of casually going along, dying from zombies hidden under mountains and killing dragons, doing my thing. But it's been fun.
Normal things.
Yeah. Other normal things. It's totally normal to sponsor our show, and you should. And today we're going to shout out one of our financial sponsors, Annette Knoll. You rock. She's also the reason why I know what half the fandoms we're talking about today are. Also, remember, rate and review our show wherever you get your podcast. Just that little bit of time it takes to leave that rating review helps a whole lot. It makes the algorithms, AI, and all that thing prioritize us when people are looking for podcast or geek stuff. And that goes a long way. So we really appreciate it. And remember, guys, if you want your own shout out like Annette just got, you can get your own shout out by becoming an official member of Systematic Geekology on our website. Same website, you can find some exclusive content, some cool merch, and other ways to just kind of get plugged into the Systematic Geekology community if you want to be more a part of what we're doing here. And just, I don't know, I love our community online and even in person. We got to go to NC Comic Con, so I'd really love it if everybody just kind of jumped on and shared in this together, as we might be talking about here in a minute, what friends do. But for now, let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. First things first, I want to start with the whys. So why are we doing this? So Christian, first, why do you think we're drawn into stories about like teams, team ups, mashups, all that kind of stuff? Like, what is it that draws us to that? Why would me and you even want to build a team in the first place?
Because allegedly, when there's more people together, you should have less problems. But, but to actually answer the question, it's like I've mentioned several times before on the show, my favorite series of all time, once again, not for the quality, but because of what happens in it, is Marvel Team Up. I love Spider-Man. I love Marvel characters. I love seeing them together. I love solo stories with those characters, but there's just something more special when Spider-Man can't solve a problem and the Human Torch comes in or Captain America comes in and they work together and they solve the problem and they become better friends by the end of it. Or there's a problem that arises between the two of them. They have to work on their relationship with each other. And then you have the classic setup of teams in comics universes, not just comics, but in general. We have like the Avengers, who are started because Loki created the problem that had all of them come together and forced them to become a team. You have, if I'm remembering correctly, it's the machinations of the Skrulls before the Secret Invasion that caused the new Avengers to come back together after they'd been disassembled. And then for DC, on that side of things, you have the JLA. When Starro invades, in most continuities, Superman isn't enough to take him down. Batman's not enough. Wonder Woman's not enough. But working together alongside the other heroes that are involved in whatever origin story they're telling, it's a lot easier to handle a threat they couldn't do by themselves. And that helps us give moments to where these characters can play off of each other, to reveal a little more about themselves, may even have like, you know, romantic interest that can happen as a result of this. Like, ooh, it's just fun.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, it's like, you know, Superman, he's great, but then a rock can defeat him. A rock from outer space. But then Batman just comes along and kicks the rock to the side. And all of a sudden, boom, Superman, super again. Make Superman super again. Anyway, the other thing with teams, I'm going to go back to the Four Loves. I'm sorry. I almost said Christian Ashley wrote it. C.S. Lewis, a little bit different than Christian Ashley.
I wish.
Writes the Four Loves. He talks about friendship and like some of what makes it different. It's like romance, it's about each other. It's like I'm just infatuated with how great Christian is. But friendship is about something. So it's like for Christian and I, we started with Doctor Who. We both kind of have the shared interest, this show, and we talked about it. And then we have shared faith, and we talked about that. And we shared Spider-Man lore, and we disagree about it, but we still love Spider-Man. So we kind of like, and friendship just kind of grows. It's about something, not one another, ideally. And the thing that's so cool about teams, whether it's in a book or a movie, show, whatever, is like what you're seeing is like Superman's all about justice, all this stuff, and then Batman comes along and he's around the same thing, and you see it from two different perspectives. They're still sharing the same truth, right? And as someone who's watching or reading, you probably are like, oh yeah, I like Superman because I like the things that he stands for. I like this stuff. I like what he's doing. And then to see more characters be a part of that makes you feel like there's more, and you can connect to all of them. And then seeing it from different perspectives helps you understand the things you care about on a deeper level. And that's where I think just in general, teams are fantastic for storytelling. Yeah. So the other why, Christian, why sidekicks? Do we need sidekicks? Do we need companions? And then why are we doing a whole episode talking about them? Like why not just talk about the main characters?
Because as much as I hate saying it out loud, we can't live life alone. We can't do this on our own. There is a certain part where we can be self-sufficient, but there are other parts where we just need help. And superheroes and other characters across fiction, they're no different. Like we need, like Captain America is a lot more interesting when you're building off of Bucky, and then a retcon with Winter Soldier, and you have Rick Jones and the Falcon and D-Man and Diamondback and so much more. They help in different ways play off of him in a way that if Captain America was just by himself, yeah, he can still tell a compelling story about it because we like his character, we like what he's about. But you add someone else into the mix and it changes everything about the story, because now how are they reacting to it? How are they reacting to Steve's choices? Or just using him as an example, then of course, I mean, we go to scripture, we see people working together. Elijah has his Elisha. Paul has his Timothy. And Jesus has the disciples. Jesus doesn't need the disciples in a way that a human would need them in the same way, but he's still doing something important there. He's teaching them about what to do so that when they have disciples of their own, things carry on to the point where we're at today. That wouldn't have been done if we didn't have organization there of people working together, mentoring people, spending time with them to get to know them better and also teach them about faith. And we need sidekicks because one day they're going to be the heroes, because the hero isn't always going to be around. You get things like Dragon Ball, that was one part of the story until, money and everything, where Goku left because he wanted everyone else to be capable of saving the world. It was his time. And that's something that could be told in a competent story. But, that's its own point. So what about you, Josh? What do you think?
I agree most with what you said. I don't think that in every case the sidekick necessarily becomes the hero. I think sometimes people are just better suited to assist someone else. And that's
no, I'm saying that's
not
the end
lesser
goal.
than or greater. Yeah. Well, I don't think that's always the end goal though. I think some people are that's just their personality. Now, mind you, I might come back to regret saying this one. I don't think of TJ as a sidekick. Let's start there. But TJ is really good no matter who you put him with. He's going to assist the hell out of you. You put him with Trip Fuller, guess what? Trip's going to be better. Because that's what TJ does. TJ makes other people better. And I don't necessarily see TJ, and I've talked to him, it's not what he wants, is to become a leader of anything. Man, he wants to find people that he cares about and agrees with and support them. And I think sometimes that's what a companion does. Sometimes, though, it is exactly what Christian says. They're going to one day be the hero and they have to learn. And that's where I think what's really cool about a lot of our sidekicks is they're more relatable a lot of the time. A lot of the time, I never am reading Batman going, that's me. I'm totally Batman. But maybe I read it and I hear Dick Grayson and I see where he's struggling and how he's I'll never measure up and he's going through really personal stuff. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I think I relate to that character. So I think a little bit it's a way in to make some of these larger than life heroes actually feel relatable. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Well, let me clarify real quick. When I mean hero, I don't mean they have to be the carbon copy of the one who's mentoring them. No. I just want to make sure it's understood. When I'm discipling other people, the goal isn't to make them me. The goal is to make them, who Jesus wants them to be. And that could be the person who supports. That could be the person who then succeeds me one day. It could be the person who just organizes things or make sure that the AV is done. That's a heroic, they become that hero and they wouldn't have done that without someone pouring into them and watching out for them. So that's was the point I was making.
Which we'll get more into that later on.
Howdy guys, I really hate to interrupt, but my name's TJ and I'm here to tell you about our new merch. We have incredible new stuff with Fourth Wall. We have just partnered with them as a new store. They have a lot more to offer, which means we have a lot more to offer. We can now offer you beautiful Comfort Colors t-shirts. They're so comfy. I wear mine all the time. And we've got it all now. Cups, hats, backpacks, pajamas. If you want your Systematic Geekology pajamas, you know where to go. My personal favorite is actually our Throne of Geeks shirt. It is Comfort Colors, blue, black, green, red, orange. And the shirts are just so nice. And the shirt itself, we've got the Throne of Iron geeked out because, that's our brand. We've got Mjolnir on there, the Buster Sword, Trident. Basically just the coolest weapons from our favorite properties are on the shirt instead of a bunch of normal boring swords from the boring series Game of Thrones. So check that out. And thank you.
But we need to hurry along because we have a ton of stuff to talk about this episode. First, let's go ahead and build our team. Let's cut to the chase. And we've both agreed to the honor code. We're just going to accept that the other one, whatever he chose, counts. Even if I don't want it to count. I'll say it counts.
We haven't gotten to this part of the episode. This is interesting.
I texted you and you said that sounds good.
Sure I did. You had no proof.
I have evidence. And not only that, we're going to double agree to the honor code. The part I didn't text him. We're grading each other. I don't get to say that I think my team's better than Christian, because of course I think that. Christian's going to grade my team and I'm going to grade his. I want to see who comes out. And we're just going to be honest. And I believe that Christian can be honest. And I'm hoping he trusts me to be partially honest. The problem is I might not know all of his characters. That does make things difficult, but it's fine. We'll figure it out. We're going to stroll through our picks, though, for our 7-member teams. So first, we're starting with our Doctor Who companion.
So if you got to, I guess this is releasing after we do that one then. My number 1 pick for my favorite Doctor Who companion is also who I'm picking here, because I think Ace is not only a great character, but one of the greatest companions ever. I think she is the best because she brings a lot to the table. She is an explosive expert. She is someone who rebels enough against authority without being a total punk about it, who knows when to keep people in their place, who also knows when to use a baseball bat to kill and beat up a Dalek. I mean, no, it doesn't.
That's when you see a Dalek. That's when.
Yeah, it's on site. Like, take him out. And she uses what she has at her disposal and what she's not supposed to have on her disposal to blow problems up. And it's wonderful.
An explosives member is definitely, that's key. That's key. I like that.
Yes.
For myself, I'm starting with, I'm going to start with Jack Harkness, Captain Jack.
Okay.
I didn't mention him at all in our Doctor Who episode because I cheated. He would have got a shout out. He isn't necessarily one of my favorites. He's close. Reason I pick him for this, though, he has enough leadership qualities, enough charisma, and he has proven he can work with the team. And that's where I think he's going to be pivotal to making my team actually functional. And he's fun, which I also think is important for a team. So I'm going to go with my Doctor Who. Next up, we're going to do our Star Wars pick. Christian, who are you going with?
Yeah, I'm picking Zane Carrick from the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic comics. He is atypical for a Jedi, and he's not really, he hasn't been trained well. His master doesn't like him, and to the point where he is framed for murdering his fellow apprentices after those masters have a vision of the future where they fall to the dark side. So it's him struggling against the Jedi Order, also in the midst of the Mandalorian War, dealing with criminal organizations, trying to just find a way to live and expose the truth to the world that he's not a murderer. And he, over time, grows as a Jedi despite not having a master, grows in empathy to other people and say, what about this part of the Jedi Order? It's a little different experiencing things in the real world versus, the safety and comfort you get just from being, trained by someone. So Zane is going to be maybe one of leaders, if not the leader.
All right. I dig it. Now, my pick for Star Wars. This was really difficult for me, actually. I'm going to go with the one and only Darth Tyrannus, otherwise known as Count Dooku. Because he's pragmatic, because even though he's a Sith, he also is definitely just one of those that's like, yeah, he saw the evils of the Jedi institution. If you look at the Tales of the Jedi, it's a good series. And he saw the evils of the Sith. And I think he was planning to take them both out. And also that's why utilitarian doesn't work, because sometimes it just makes you the bad guy. But I think if he is on a team, he sees the mission, he sees the goal, he'll go along to play along if he believes in what we're trying to do. If not, could be a dangerous pick that takes us all down. We'll see. All right, Christian, what's your next one? We're going Star Trek Blue Shirts. Which, for listeners who don't know, blue shirts are the medical science officers.
Yes. So I'm picking Dr. McCoy. You want a man who can face problems head on, knows his stuff, knows also how to have a good bedside manner, and to make sure the people in charge know, hey, you may be in charge of the starship, but this is my room. You're going to listen to me. And regardless of whatever scenario is picked, I have the opportunity for him to say, I'm a doctor, not a blank. And no other character on this list has that capability, which I think makes him outrank anyone else.
All right. I love it. I going dangerous here. I never pronounced the name correctly.
I figured. Well, I mean, not in a bad way. I figured this was your choice, and I like it.
He means a lot to me personally. So,
Yes.
Officer Joseph Mbenga. Did I say that right? Do you know?
Mbenga, yes.
Okay. Yeah,
Solid pick.
Yeah, great character. Not only is he a great medic, he's seen war. He knows the reality of war. He knows when it might be necessary, and he absolutely is going to be the first one to say it's not necessary. And he just has that heart that I don't think anyone else on my team has. So he's going to be the heart of the team, I think. I like him a lot.
Solid.
He's
Good idea.
This is not a Mbenga episode, so I'll stop there.
All right. Next up for comic sidekick, I'm picking Rick Jones, who is probably the definition of the sidekick in comics world. He's worked with and studied under Captain America, the Hulk, Captain Marvel, the original. He, in recent years, has become a Hulk himself. He is someone who is prepared for any situation to the point where a plane blew up and he parachuted out of it, not having previously been established that he had one. And he got asked why. And he said, well, of course I have a parachute with me wherever I go. Do you know how long I've been in this trade? So he's got plenty of knowledge of how heroing works, of how to support them, but also like how to get things done. Like he being involved in the Kree Skrull War, all the stuff he's done with Captain Marvel and the Hulk, Captain America, so on and so forth. Like this man's got the experience. He's been there since the beginning. He's still there now. Oh, and also he has a symbiote now because Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel. Yeah, that's a good.
The House of Ideas, everyone.
That's a real wild card of a pick too. It's like he can be just about anything because Marvel doesn't know what to do with him sometimes. All right, my next one, Abe Sapien from the Hellboy comics, Hellboy universe. I love Abe. He's very much one of those who's like he's a supporting role kind of person. He doesn't have that kind of personality that he's going to take charge, but he's very understanding, sympathetic. He's very intelligent, so he's good at like figuring stuff out. If we're going to do like detective work, he'll be helpful. He also has some pretty cool abilities as far as getting inside your head, seeing your past, all those kind of things. And yeah, and you have to have an aquatic character, I feel like. So that's where I'm going. I got Abe Sapien.
Fair enough.
All right, what's next for you, my man? So we did comic books. Next is it anime
and animation?
Next?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I am choosing Paul von Oberstein from Legend of the Galactic Heroes, my favorite anime of all time. Not that you asked or anything. This is a story of political machination.
Never heard of
empire fighting democracy. What's the right form of government you should have? How do you work inside a government that's maybe a little more fascistic or maybe a little more corrupt? And he is more on the imperial side of things. And he recognized as he grew up that if he had been born at an earlier time in history, he would have been murdered because his eyes weren't working. So he would have been born blind. And this was a time as you're in space, we've regressed because that's one of the themes of the show is that humans make poor decisions again and again. And it was a racial purity idea that anyone who wasn't so-called racially pure would be killed. And he recognizes that elements of that still exist in the empire, and there are nobles who are going to take advantage of that. So he wanted to change things, but he also recognized something important. He doesn't have the charisma for it. So he starts to support people who can get the job done. And that's how he gets involved with Reinhard and Kirchheis and Mittermeier and all of them, so that he can make sure things get done while also recognizing he's never going to be number one, but he can support number one. And he can also really make the hard decisions because his morals are a little less good as others. So he will allow things to happen, not let the guy in charge know so that it doesn't look like he did. So when they happen, he looks like the good guy for coming in and solving the problem. And you kind of need a little shady person every now and then, but also someone who is ultimately a moral man. It's one of the things is black and gray morality in the series. And he's a perfect example of it.
Yeah. It's like as much as I don't like the utilitarian stuff, it's like I picked Count Dooku. You got this guy. I'm feeling it. Okay. All right. I'm going animation. Jake the dog. One of the best companions of all time. For one, he's a dog. That's important. Also, he can morph into pretty much anything, which makes him pretty darn powerful. He can be a mode of transportation. He can surround you and become a human shield, because why not? And he's going to bring a lot of levity. He's going to be a lot of the fun. He's going to make people enjoy being there. Yeah. Yeah, maybe even Dooku will have fun. Although I kind of doubt it. We'll see. I think Jack Harkness, though, is going to have a great time with Jake on the team.
A pairing I never would have thought of, but now I kind of like it.
All right. Next up is our animal sidekick. Who do you have for your animal sidekick?
All right. I have Oi, the Billy Bumbler from the Dark Tower series by Stephen King.
Ooh.
Oi is kind of a mix of like a raccoon, a dog, and like some other mammal I'm not remembering off the top of my head. But he has a capability of limited human speech, but he's also super loyal. He looks after his companions well. He goes down fighting at the very end. Sorry for spoilers. It's been out for almost 20 years at this point in time. And he goes out against a being that is so far beyond his comprehension that it doesn't matter because his friends are in trouble. So Oi is going to be your most dependable, loyal, looking after you kind of guy. And that's why I had to throw him here.
I love it. I love it. That's going to be close to mine. I'm going with Fox. He's a fox from Middle West. Probably the comic that means the most to me of any comic. One of my favorites, and just deep stuff. He is a companion who, the reasons I love him, so he's able to speak. He is the companion who is going to tell you when not to go. And when you choose to go anyway, he's coming anyway. He's always going to be there. He's just a sound, strong, sage, not sage, or like he's going to give you the solid wisdom. And when you ignore it, he's there. And just kind of having a companion who's willing to be there and also willing to say, you know what? I think maybe we even lose our mission if it means the well-being of one another. And let's just hang out. Let's just not do this. He's the one who's going to tell us when we're going too far. When Dooku's like, let's destroy the Empire. He's like, you know what? What if we realize that's just a suicide mission and let's not? So that's his role on the team. All right. We both get a wild card. Yeah, most of yours I didn't know. It's going to make this really hard. Wild card, Christian. Who you got?
Okay. So I was going to take this literally and have like the person you couldn't trust, and I'll add them in my honorable mentions later on when we get to that segment. But wild card, baby, I got Mothra. Mothra, one of the greatest sidekicks of all time, working with Godzilla. I realized my team didn't have too many powerhouses on it. It was more tactical thinking and luck, like Zane Carrick's kind of thing. He's just kind of lucky. He just kind of ends up, even despite himself, in situations where things work out for him. But Mothra, yeah, it may take a little while for her to wake up, depending, even when her own people are kidnapped by a terrorist organization, in Ibera. But, eventually she gets there and she gets the problem solved. And we need more people like Mothra.
Man, I can't argue that. I'm jealous of the intellect it took to think Mothra here. Mine's going to surprise literally no one, I think. I'm going to Kingdom Hearts. I'm choosing Donald Duck. This image is him doing Zeta Flare, the most powerful magic in all of Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts multiverse. He also, this is why I picked him. Like at first I was like, it would just be funny. But then I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute. That's an incredibly powerful move. And also, we go to an aquatic world. Guess what? We can all breathe underwater now. We go to a world we have to blend in. Boom. We're all ghosts. I think Donald Duck is one of the most versatile, underrated characters. Thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Strategic thinking. I appreciate that a ton.
Yeah. What's funny is it started as silly thinking. It became strategic thinking. I was trying to tell myself no when I first thought of it. And then I was like, wait a minute. Actually.
I mean, this duck is pretty fire.
Yeah. And also, I think he is the powerhouse of our team, too. Ironically. And if you think about it, Sora didn't defeat Xehanort. Donald Duck did. I hate that that's technically true, but all right. We have our teams. We got our teams here. Now we have to see what our secret mission is, which I've literally not looked at all. I can't wait to open this email.
Oh gosh, to see this part is virgin to our eyes and ears.
Okay, I just opened it. I'm going to show you. I haven't clicked this yet. We're going to experience this together.
Oh, I mean, this could literally be anything. Like, we have no idea at all. It could be who's going to create the best pizza joint together.
God, I hope so. That would be so funny.
It could be running as an independent. Which one of these working together as a group can become president of the United States? We don't know.
All right. The mission.
Okay.
On a trip to Carowinds, your team is riding the Intimidator when a portal opens up before the first loop. After extricating themselves from the coast, they discover they've landed in a world of high magic and super science ruled by a big tech oligarchy. The technarchy, what? Anyway,
yes,
has abducted your team to test the strength of their magnum opus, the dreaded IP Hydra. A horrible beast with the heads of George Lucas, J.R.R. Tolkien, Oda, I can't say half these names, George R.R. Martin, J.K. Rowling, Brandon Sanderson, G. Ron Berry, and Elon Musk.
Masahiro Sakurai was the other one.
If it guards your ticket out of this place, will you test the beast or challenge the technarchy? Oh.
Hey.
Oh, so we get a choice with this mission. Okay.
What's challenging them? Is that not agreeing to the terms they presented? Is that overthrowing them?
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking overthrowing them.
Okay.
Because I'm, okay. Yeah, oligarchy. Okay, let me go back over my team real quick. I'm sorry. If I got Jack Harkness, Count Dooku, Mbenga, I hate to say it, but I think even Jake, I don't think they're letting the oligarchy stand. Like, I think they're just straight going to go with nope, freedom. We can't leave this place with these people under this kind of subjugation. You know,
okay.
I think they're going to have to go after the technarchy just based on personality alone. I think that's what my team would do. How do you think your team would handle this before we go into how successful we think we'll be?
Honestly, I could see it going either way, because we do have a kaiju of our own, and Mother does have a history of going up against multi-headed beasts, and he didn't specify the size of our
That's true.
IP Hydra here. Do you know what? For the sake of argument, I'll say it's equivalent to King Ghidorah.
I think that's fair.
Which would be more intimidating. So, and Mother 1v1 against Ghidorah historically has not been the best. But let's see. I think we're taking it on, and I think Mothra is the distraction.
I say, do you think Paul Vaughn, whatever, is like the cold and calculating guy, he still thinks this is the best way forward?
Yeah. Well, once again, I can see it going either way, but for the sake of being different, I'll say we fight the beast.
All right. In the midst of this, the Lord has come upon us in a dream in the middle of the night when we're thinking up our teams and we have this mission ahead of us. Boom. The Lord shows up and says, hey, you can bring any Bible sidekick, disciple, assistant, whatever, as long as they're human. No supernatural characters allowed. Gets to join your team. The Lord's just going to pluck them from history, let them join you and put them back. Who are you going with, Christian? Who are you choosing from our biblical narratives?
Not knowing what this would be, I already made my decision, so I'm not going to change it based off of new information. I am choosing to bring in Joab from King David's army because I needed a ruthless thinker, someone who will get things done and doesn't much care about other people's opinions. Besides, I have Oberstein, but I think Joab is going to be the more physical side of this. So I'm adding him on.
Mm-hmm. I'm going with someone who's seen some weird stuff already, who's going to lean into our team needs to have fun aspect, enjoy themselves. I went with John the Beloved. Yeah, the Revelator. He's seen some wild stuff already, so I don't think he's going to be thrown off too much. And I think he's going to be there with Jake the dog. They're going to have fun. It's like, if you think about John the Beloved, like he's the one who's like, yeah, we raced to the tombs and I was there first. like John is definitely the disciple that I think had the most fun. So I think he's going to get along really well with again, Jake, Jack, maybe even Abe. Abe's not like he's not a no fun kind of guy. Definitely Donald Duck. He's gonna have a great time with Donald Duck because he knows what a duck is. He'd be like, what's this guy? What's your deal?
Well, why would he? No one else reacts to Donald being a duck.
Yeah.
You got to protect the order.
Of course. So yeah. All right, Christian. I'm taking on the Technocry. You're taking on this giant multi-headed oligarchy beast. God, this is great. I love our co-host. We have 5 different measurements that we're going to grade each other on here. And we're going to do 1 through 10. We're going to add it up and see who scores the best. Mission status. How well does your team do on our mission? And I'm going to grade you. You're going to grade me. 2, we're going to do teamwork. Would your team actually work? Sustainability. How long would your team actually stay together? Are they just, they finish the mission, that's it? Or was this a team who might actually keep doing other missions? Strength. How powerful is your team? Sometimes it is about the power, And then 5, we're going to grade each other on, would your team enjoy working together and completing this mission as a team?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
first up, do you want me to go first? Or you want to go first? Or we both do one thing at a time? Okay.
Yeah. Mission status. Okay. How well do I think your team does on this mission? I think you've got a pretty competent team for this. Dooku's going to be a huge outlier as far as like wanting to work with them. Outside of the fact that he is willing to work with people like he has in like the Clone Wars show and beyond, of working even with Jedi if it means that he can get his goal. So I think he can put his pride aside and make this work. Of course, you've got John there as someone who can negotiate and work with people despite the weirdness going on here. And of course, Fox is there as a voice of reason. Reining in Jake is going to be a problem, but
yeah, Jake's going to have a fun time in this world, unfortunately.
He is a wild card, but I think we can make this work. I think Jack Harkness has a way of making misfits work together well, as we've seen in Doctor Who and Torchwood. It's a shame about the actor.
Yeah, that's what I was really banking on, is Jack Harkness pulling this team, pulling the reins in kind of deal.
It also depends on how willing he wants to be to flirt and manipulate people. That could cause problems. But I think ultimately he may deny himself because he sees the greater moment here of actually getting out alive and taking care of the Technarch, because he's anti-authority in that regard. Not that he hates authority completely, but an authoritarian group like that, he can't handle it. So,
and I got to throw out there, Donald Duck has been in the world of Tron, so he's no stranger to tech world.
That is true.
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as ranking out of 10, I'm throwing an 8 there. I think it once again, it depends on the capabilities of this Technarchy. Are they like, the Technarchy of Warlock species in X-Men? Are they higher level than that? Are they something more akin to the Reapers of Mass Effect? There's a lot of unknowns here, but I guess since that hasn't been specified in our prompt, I guess we'll just have to decide on something and say that the teams we have assembled could fight at least one-on-one with whatever they have. And they're not going to fight one-on-one with the Beast, though, because they think that they don't have the firepower for it, which potentially they could, but they might lose some people along the way. And I don't see them being willing to do that just yet, unless it was like the last option. So, like I said, I'll throw them an 8. I think they have the capability to infiltrate, maybe even get people on their side, because Jack's a very persuasive guy. Dooku is a very persuasive man. There's a lot going for him in that regard.
Mission status, I'm going to give you a 10, because I'm convinced from your description that this Paul guy is going to say, yeah, this is our quickest way out of here. This isn't our problem. This isn't our dimension, not our problem. I think he's going to help kind of pull them in with a understanding. Let's do this. Mothra is just going to go after the monster anyway, I think. So they might as well lean into it. And then you got Ace with explosions and Zane being Jedi. I think with that extra help of explosions and Jedi, Mothra can take it, and having the other characters there to just kind of support, And no matter what injuries you sustain in the fight, I'm convinced McCoy is going to be able to doctor everybody up. With the exception of maybe Mothra, who I think will heal on her own anyway.
It would take a little more work for him.
Yeah.
But
So
he's a doctor,
I think
not a
kill the
kaiju
mission.
helper.
Yeah. I don't see any issues that your team might run into, really. Yeah. All right. What's next here on my outline?
Teamwork.
Yeah, would the team actually work together?
Right. So you've got some really like level-headed people here. You've got the Fox, from what I understand. You've got Abe Sapien. Mabenga, for the most part, is pretty reasonable and rational. Once again, Harkness and Dooku, I don't see them normally working together, but faced with this problem in front of them, I see this working. Now, it depends on how long it takes for them to do it. If Jack's wanting to take his time and Dooku's wanting to do things faster, or vice versa, I could see friction developing there, and Dooku trying to persuade people to like, I should be the one in charge. You should be listening to me. That could be a huge problem. Jake, of course, is the wild card. He wants the technarchy down. It doesn't matter whose side he takes. Jake has morality to him, but he's also missing his family, and he'd like to get back to him. So does the easier option mean he goes with Dooku instead? And Donald Duck is a cantankerous person. Takes a little while for people to get used to him and accept him as he is. And that it doesn't mean he hates you. It just means he has a hair fire trigger, even though he doesn't have hair, just a lot of feathers. So he's someone that could cause problems and friction. So if they start off doing this and they automatically try and implement a plan, I see this as failing. But if they take their time, enough time to not cause friction, I see this doing pretty well. I'm giving like a 9 out of 10 there. If they take even longer, that goes down like excessively.
Yeah. So given the immediateness of the situation, I think your team's going to just do the thing. Mothra's going straight at the monster. I mean, there's not a lot of time to think and see whether or not they're going to work together. But if I'm just evaluating the team and not just thinking about the mission, I could see McCoy not really getting along with Ace, or possibly even this Paul guy. I don't know the Paul Vaughn very much, but I could see McCoy kind of getting into this whole explosion, violent. Like I feel like he's pretty anti-violence and explosions, just because that's kind of the nature of Star Trek. So I could see some tension there, but that's really for the most part. I think the rest of them, I don't know Zane well enough to know how he would react to some of these other characters.
He's definitely one of the more moral characters. He can get a little unscrupulous if need be.
Yeah. Mothra isn't one to stick by a team too long, but when Godzilla's in trouble, Mothra's there. So I think also Mothra being the kind of creature that it is, if I'm using legendary films for the sake of simplicity, I think instinctually Mothra wants to get back home, and the rest of them are probably going to be doing that anyway. So I can see, at least for the duration of the mission, I think the team works. So I'm going to go 9 as well. I'm with you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
Sustainability.
Like I didn't write
How
the
long
outline.
would they stay together?
Oh man, I think this is going to be the one that hurts me.
Yeah. I gotta say, the longer they're together, the worse this looks. I hate to say it, but like a 4. Like if they get things done soon, I think they've got this. But there are too many other opinions and prideful people involved, and hair fire trigger people involved, and Jake to guarantee success. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I have some rebuttals, but that's for later. Because I have some argument for mine. Sustainability wise, I think Mothra is probably your big issue. Mothra and McCoy, weirdly enough, because again, I think McCoy is too Star Trek-y, for the kind of world where characters like Ace could exist or Zane could exist. So I'm like, he's enough anti-violence that I'm like, I don't see him sticking around long term. I don't see Mothra sticking around long term, because it's not what Mothra does. The rest of them, maybe. I'm gonna go 6. I'm gonna give you a 6
I
on
think
sustainability.
That's fair. Yeah.
All right.
Especially if they were going the other route of taking down the technarchy, like I could see it work, but it would take a lot.
Yeah. All right. Strength. How powerful are our teams, Christian?
All right. You've got some pretty cracked people here. I mean, you have Donald Duck. Jake is one of the best shapeshifters ever. You've got some pretty powerful minds in this group. And of course, Dooku's force abilities and Jack's immortality is going to be a huge boon because he could literally die multiple times over and be okay. But as far as like raw strength, it's probably going down to Dooku, Jake, and Donald Duck. And that wants me to give you like overall your team for 3 out of 9 members. But of course, you also have John, who has the power of Christ on his side. So I need to think about that.
John the Beloved. That's a...
Yeah. I was going to say 7, but now thinking about that, I want to put it at an 8. You know,
Ooh.
Prayers of Powerful Voice.
So is Zeta Flare, just saying.
Well, you also have Fox. So I'm thinking, in light of the entire team, strength-wise.
See, I don't want to do an average here because I think really your team is as weak and as strong as, you know, its weakest and strongest member. Because like honestly, if you have one member who can literally One Punch Man, if for example was on your team, the whole team is able to beat someone in one punch.
See, but the question you asked is how powerful is your team?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like as a whole, if one team member is that strong, I think that brings the whole team up that much. Not average. Okay. You have Mothra. Man, and then even I'm forgetting the name. Who's the Bible character name?
Joab.
Yeah, Joab. Joab has some pretty impressive feats from what I remember. I don't know anything about Zane but Jedi, and then you have Ace with the explosions. But in light of stuff like Tetnarchy, giant whatever multiple head monster thing, the power scaling is really the problem I have here. Because like as strong as Mothra is, I'm convinced Zeta Flare alone is more powerful than Mothra. But I'm not sure. Because power scaling's hard and also bad. I don't like it. It's annoying. Thinking about what all each of these members have achieved in the past, though. I'm gonna give it a 7. I'm gonna go 7.
Okay.
What did you give me? I forgot.
8.
Okay, so I'm trying to write them down so we can. All right, last one. Fun. Is your team going to enjoy being around each other and working together?
All right. So going one by one from last to first, because the first will be last. We have John, disciple, level-headed, smart, listens to what he's told. You know, had plenty of fun with the other disciples, had fun mentoring other people. Great. You have Donald Duck, treasured friend when you become his friend.
Runs a ship on smiles.
Yes. But also has that hair trigger temper that is going to definitely cause friction. The point is, if you could get to become his friend, you would be friends. But it's that long gap in between that's the problem. Fox seems flawless to me. Having not read the comic in question, but just hearing his characterization, I think he's going to be one of the easiest, if not the easiest, to get along with. Jake is the definition of fun. If you don't have fun, you can't be around Jake. Now, his kind of fun may differ from your kind of fun every now and then, but
his fun might be at your expense.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think most people will be okay. Ape Sapien, he's more, not you wouldn't say stoic, but more reserved. So it'd be a little harder for him to open up at first, but he would get along with people well to the point where they could have fun together. Then, of course, Dr. Maminga, suffering from PTSD as he does, is an extremely qualified doctor, has canonically had fun multiple times over, as we've seen in Strange New Worlds and, the original series. So maybe a bit prickly at first, but definitely not as bad as McCoy would be, shall we say. Definitely easier to make friends with. Dooku, statesman, has the charisma. His idea of fun isn't going to be everyone else's idea of fun. I think most of them are going to pick up real quick. This isn't a good dude. Don't really.
I beg to differ.
Relate to him. Okay, we'll get through rebuttals later. Harkness, he's the life of the party, almost as much as Jake. He's going to find ways to get them to unwind, have fun together. So in light of all that, I think having Jake and Jack on the same team does help boost it up compared to some of the other people there. So I'm also going to throw this. I'm going to throw this at a 7 because the other members, it would be rougher to get them to get along. But with them on their side, I think it's easier ultimately for them to eventually get that way.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right. Man, so here's the thing, fun, and I'm going to detach this from the mission for at least because we're talking about fun, you know. Okay. I honestly think Ace would have so much fun being around Mothra. Like, oh my God, that's a giant moth. Like, Ace is eating that up. McCoy is eating that up. McCoy might even not pay that much attention to the explosives problem of Ace for at least the time of them both being like, that's a giant moth. Like, I think they would both really enjoy that. Because as much as McCoy can be a McGrudgeon or whatever, when he sees something cool, he usually lets his guard down a little. And he's like, yeah, that's a giant moth. We just got saved in a different dimension by a giant moth. Like, I just see him eating that up, man. The other ones I don't know well enough to really say that much. Rick Jones, I think he can have fun. He just keeps getting like terrible situations. So I think if he was around the team long enough, he could have fun. But again, I don't think the team would stick around that long because of McCoy's differences in beliefs with some of these other characters. So it's really hard for me to put. And then you had for your Bible character, I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't see him having that much fun. But the Bible doesn't give us enough to really go off of.
Joab, like
the world he was put in doesn't have a lot of room for fun.
Like, you could see him like carousing with his troops or something like that, and like for morale purposes. But he doesn't strike me as like, I'm out to have fun today. No, I have a job. I'm going to do the job.
So I'm going to give you a 6 on the fun run. Okay. Because I think a few of them are having a lot of fun, but overall, I'm not sure. And then sustainable wise, I think long term, they're not sticking together. So it's hard for them to keep having fun. But
it's a marriage alliance of convenience.
Just like much teams, though. I feel like both of our teams are ones where like some of them might fall off and some might stick together. You know, it's hard to tell. Okay. Yep. Time for rebuttal. Okay. My first few rebuttals I want to give that I just want to throw out there. My team was built with a few things in mind. Fox being as level-headed as he is, I think is going to help a lot more with sustainability than we give credit for. That combined with Abe's ability to literally touch you and help psychically know your past and, you know, emotion stuff. He has a lot of power with emotion and is able to kind of regulate people's emotions a little bit. So I think that helps a lot, especially with Donald Duck. Then also you got to consider, if you believe the Lord like I do, Donald Duck suffers from PTSD the same as Mbenga. So I think Abe's going to help them connect and actually be able to help both of them enjoy being around Jake. Because it is just impossible. With Jake and Jack, I think it's impossible not to have fun if you're able to let your guard down. And I think Abe's powers are he's going to be able to basically make everybody let their guard down. Against their will.
I see your point.
Sorry, Tom Ford. Sorry, I can't help it.
No, it helps you know Abe better than I. You've read more of the comics. I've only had the movies to go off of, and it's been a while since I've watched them. Yeah. So I forgot he had that, if they even show that at all.
I don't know if it's in the movie.
Okay.
I'm unsure.
Yeah. That's a great feat to have, especially in like creating a cohesive
It makes him invaluable to teams. Yeah.
Yes.
Does that change any of my ratings? That's what I want to know. You're the ultimate judge.
I never move.
All right.
It's my shtick.
Let nothing move you. Even logic. All right. Christian, do you have any rebuttals for me?
Gosh, you just said these things and I'm trying to remember them.
Do you want to know what your scores were?
No. I think my idea in building this team wasn't to create cohesion to begin with. It was more like, if these misfits were to work together, who would I put to create something if I were writing the story to eventually get them to be the heroes? And with a short amount of time span as I have here, it's possible. It would just take a lot of work. So I understand your ratings. I don't really have so much rebuttals as like what I think the plan would be to win.
It's so shocking that the one of us who's most likely winning doesn't have rebuttals, and the one of us who's most likely to lose lead had a lot of rebuttal. All right, I'm going to add these up. So what you gave me first. So you gave me an 8 on mission status, a 9 on whatever was after that. Let me pull this back up. How do people make D&D podcasts? This is making me realize. This seems impossible. Okay, 9 on
gets
teamwork.
edited out, and some people are just competent. They don't need to do it.
A 4 on sustainability. You gave me a 7 on strength. Unfairly.
I said a 4. After what you said, I'll throw it to a 6.
That I like. Thank you. A 7 on sustainability, which might be generous, honestly. No, 7 on strength. Okay, that makes more sense. 7 on strength. And yeah, okay, we're Zeta Flare. Okay, anyway. 7 on fun. Okay, I'll accept that. Jake's great, but whatever. I gave you a 10 on mission status. To be fair, your mission was easier because your guys made an easier choice. A 9 on teamwork, 6 on sustainability. I gave you an 8 on strength and a 6 on fun. Wait, did I have that backwards? Did you give me an 8 on strength and I gave you a 7 on strength? I think that's what happened.
I don't remember.
I'm going to change it. And if I was wrong, then this is going to be great to edit.
With the official record keeper show.
Yeah. Okay.
Replay the audio.
As funny as we technically could, but we're not going to. 1925. Oh my God. If that's correct, we tied. Which is great. I'm actually okay with that. That wasn't planned if you're listening.
Hey. Let's make a tiebreaker then. How each team solves the problem.
No, wait. I redacted the bonus question, but I promise you it's going to be the tiebreaker. Okay. So, guys, you need to become an official member of Systematic Geekology. You need to become an official member of Systematic Geekology if you want to know who actually won. We just want to take a moment to ask you all to consider sponsoring our show. You can do so by becoming a member in the website down in the show's description. It takes a lot to keep this show running as far as editing equipment, paying the site that platforms our show to all the different mediums where you listen to your podcast, going to events. There's a lot of cost behind this. And I was thinking of the most fun way to do this ad. And I was going to do one of those songs where it's like there's a log on the lake. And then by the end, it's like there's a speck in the eye of the flea on the log on the lake or something. Then I realized that would just take too long and I don't want to bore you guys. So I'm going to list some of the benefits you can get for being a member as a thank you to those who do take some of their funds to help sponsor our show. At the free tier, you get some perks, including free episodes. Yeah, you don't even have to pay to get extra content that goes along with our annual theme, or even in collaboration with the Rethinking Faith, we're going to be doing Rethinking Comics, and you can get that on our website if you want to follow that series. As you move up to some of the paid tiers, you get access to exclusive merch only for our sponsors. You get access to the bonus questions we do each thing, and all kinds of things that are like shout outs for all tiers. You can get a shout out on the episode. All of the tiers come with some incredible benefits. As you go through some of the different ones moving up, you get different % off of our merchandise. We just straight up give you money towards purchasing stuff. Some of the tiers just get $10 a month to buy stuff from us. We do free giveaways. Some of the tiers come with birthday presents, Christmas presents, free t-shirts for our members. There are lots of things that we do because we just want to show our appreciation for those who are able to take their funds and sponsor our show. But we also want to remind you, whether or not you can financially support the show, we appreciate everyone who takes their time to listen to this. Remember that verse that's like, perhaps you're here for a time such as this. Well, perhaps you're here for a time such as sponsoring our show, or perhaps you're not here to listen to ads, and I should wrap this up. Also, I did want to mention earlier, I'm going to mention it now, which is cheating, but it's fine. We did sidekicks. We talked about the importance of sidekicks and companions. On our website, when you become an official member, there's different tiers, and you could be a free official member of Systematic Geekology, and you get a lot of cool stuff with it. But one of the lowest tiers that we have on there is sidekick. And I write a little thing on there about the importance of sidekicks then, and I still believe that. So you guys can become a sidekick of Systematic Geekology. Be our companion, because they actually are invaluable. Yeah. So, and so are all of our sponsors, all of our official members, even the free members. Again, website in the description. Anyway, Christian, I want to know our honorable mentions. I'm going to go first because I have them all on my slides, and I'm just going to run through them like boom, boom, boom. So, number 1, Elisha. We're both balding. He's balding. The Lord gave him a bear. Elisha's cool.
Well, actually, I'm fully bald now.
Well, you got one up on him. You can probably call 2 bears from the Lord. For children making fun. 2. Joshua.
Oh,
it killed me not to choose Joshua because, as far as war and everything, he would be perfect. but I wanted my team to have fun. And I believe John the Revelator was just more fun than Joshua. Sorry, Josh.
Okay.
Clank from Ratchet and Clank. Really, the only reason he didn't make any of my choices, it's hard for me to think of him as a companion or a sidekick. Ratchet and Clank really, a lot of the times they do feel like equals. Ratchet just happens to be the one who has more body, but they equally do stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that Ratchet can't do that Clank has to do, and vice versa. They seem more like best friends and equals. Daxter from Jak and Daxter, he definitely is just a sidekick. A lot of fun. He would have got along great with Jake. It killed me not to choose him, but Donald Duck was too good. Ahsoka and Darth Maul, I don't think I need to explain.
Good. Yep.
I can't remember the girl Wolverine's name, but I like her a lot, and I should remember.
X-23.
Thank you. X-23 and Nightwing, both awesome. Well, Dick Grayson before he was Nightwing. Winter Soldier, you mentioned him earlier. Winter Soldier just has to get a shout out. And of course, it broke my heart not to say Tindy. Tindy is one of those characters who annoyed the absolute hell out of me when I first met her. And by the end, like, I still occasionally think about, and mostly because someone's profile on one of the streaming services that we definitely don't share is Tindy. And every time I see Tindy, my heart gets a little sad, a little heavy, because I'm like, man, I wish I could see more of them. And there are some comics and stuff, but it's not the same, man. I need more Tindy. That team I really connected with. Lower Decks, I just personally connected with all the characters so much, and it was hard not to say Tindy. But yeah, so those are my honorable mentions. Christian, you want to go through some of yours?
Yeah, we share one. That is Nightwing. Nightwing is, I believe, the greatest hero in the DC universe. Not because he's the strongest or the best, but because he relates to the most heroes and works well with them. Kind of like
the first one that said, wait a minute, what if it's a systemic problem and we addressed that? Somehow no other hero seems to think of that. Sorry.
Let's see. I also have on my honorable mentions, I was going literally for the wild cards. I had Gaius Baltar from Battlestar Galactica. That's if I really wanted my plan to fail. Or actually may even succeed, depending on how things went. Mystique was also there as like, she could literally be anyone, or she could be working against the team that brought her there. It could be literally anything. And then, of course, Charlie Reynolds, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, as the wild card himself. Then on the animal companions, I had Kilala from Inuyasha, giant cat yokai who can transport you around places, but also kill things. Then I also had Onimi from Star Wars, as seemingly he's just a jester working with the Yuzan Vong Supreme Overlord, but he's actually the guy in charge of him because he's the one Yuzan Vong who has access to the Force. Then, of course, there's Verger, who has been character assassinated by other writers, but when she first showed up on the scene, was like the perfect. You didn't know where she stood until eventually you learned who she was, and she is on the good side. Then I also had Bob the Skull from the Dresden Files as someone who would probably know a lot about arcane magic, but whether or not he would work with the team, that was the question. So I didn't put them on.
Yeah, and also sorry to Will, but the other ones I would. The reason I didn't mention any of these on my team is because I would have had to choose all of them. Darkwing Duck has the greatest companions. Gizmo Duck, Morgana, freaking Launchpad. Name a better companion than Launchpad. I dare you.
So good.
You might name more powerful.
And Uncle Scrooge.
But like, Uncle Scrooge, yeah. Yeah, Darkwing Duck is, and that's his real ability, which is funny because he's an arrogant jerk. But his real ability is just surrounding himself with the right people, man.
Yeah.
Which, hey, maybe that's the whole point of this episode. Surround yourself with the right people. No, I do want to say, I know this is kind of a long episode already, which I knew it was going to be. We touched on this earlier. I think it's important that we actually do talk about this because the nature of what we're discussing, to me, it feels like we would not be being real geekologists if we didn't dig a little deeper into this, because I think you can't talk about sidekicks without getting here, or companions, whatever you want to call them. Some churches do this like discipleship program. And this goes to what you were talking about earlier, where like some people are brought in to leadership after being mentored by a pastor. So you'll have a pastor who's mentoring someone and eventually they'll become the pastor, so on and so on. Other churches do this where they say like the associate pastor itself or the youth pastor is a calling, not just like a step up. So like you're there so that one day you'll be pastor. And there is kind of a debate, like youth pastor shouldn't be just a stepping stone to get to real pastor, the lead pastor. It should be its own calling. And you have a lot of people arguing on both sides of that. This is a real thing in the evangelical world. I don't know about outside of that. Because, most of your mainline traditions, I think, do more of a appointment rather than calling and job seeking. But I think it is actually important to talk about, like, should we think of the associate pastor, youth pastor, these other roles as stepping stones and eventually I'll be the main pastor, the main hero, or should we think of them as like their own calling? You mastered the divine. You tell me.
Well, I think it depends. I hate to be that vague to start off with, but I do think it depends. Like, is that what God has called you to do? Is that you want to start somewhere, not to say smaller, but somewhere not at the top, to learn under someone and see how they run things, or be a youth pastor taking care of, the youth and watching over them to eventually say, well, now that I've done this, let me go up and take care of an entire church. If that's what God tells you to do, do it. I mean, I would like to start off as an associate pastor first, if I do get hired somewhere, but I'm open to either position of being head, youth, associate, whatever, because I think I could be called to either one. And other people, I know one of my, one of the best pastors I've been over has never been a head pastor. He has always been the associate pastor. And he has no ambitions to go above that because he feels the call is to just stay here, be the support, make sure things get done. And that's it. That's where God wants him to be. Mm-hmm. So looking at all this, I'd say that both ideas have value in them. Now, if we go one over the other, that's why I have an issue, because I don't think that's how the calling works. I don't think it's this rigid. If you're going to start here at associate or youth pastor, you have to want to climb above. If you want to, sure, go for it. But if God is saying, no, I want you here and stay there, don't listen to anyone who says otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to we tied, and now we're going to both say both and to this last question. I hate that. But yeah, I mean, to me, I love a lot of Catholics. I consider them brothers and sisters in Christ. To me, one of the worst doctrines that's ever come out of the church is ex cathedra. Like, I don't think that there's one person at the top. So I'm going to give two answers to this. One being, everybody should be somebody else's sidekick, somebody's companion, somebody's assistant. If you're not learning from someone, I think you're just doing it wrong. That's going to go to one of my favorite Bible verses that I always forget the reference for. I'm great at this. It's either Zechariah 3 or 4.
This whole episode.
Yeah, it's either Zechariah 3 or 4, though. It's a prophecy, and he sees this image of two olive trees. And this actually is some of the inspiration for the logo for a whole church podcast. There's these two olive branches that are pouring into these lampstands that eventually pour into lamps and light candles. And what it's broken down to be is like, hey, that's the source going down to one leader, to the next leader, to the next. And then when you go to the book of Revelation, guess what they're talking about? The lampstands. It's a reference to Zechariah and the importance of that leadership struggle where you're always answering to someone. And the ultimate person we answer to is Christ, is God, of course. But like, you should always put yourself under someone. If you're not, I don't think you're showing humility, which to me says you're not in the spirit of God. Point blank. And I actually really like our current Pope, and I think he is putting himself under, and that's where some of these synods and stuff that the Catholic Church is doing, I think is actually really important, that the Pope is putting himself under other people and learning. He's not just, I'm the man. But yeah, this isn't a Catholic episode. We won't go into evaluating what we think the Catholic Church could do better. But I will say, I think it's absolutely important that everybody is being poured into from someone else, and also seek out people that you can mentor, that you can help. I just think that's the way the church is supposed to work. Point blank. There should never be, you're the guy in charge. That's why I like councils. I like synods. I like all those kind of things. At the same time, yeah, I think some people are called to be youth pastors, are called to be associate pastors, and that's where they want to stay. And that's fine. I think some people, and this is where somebody gave me some advice when I was in high school that stuck with me, and I don't agree with his theology anymore, but I really like what he said, and I still tell people this all the time when they talk to me about this kind of stuff. Do you want to know what you want to make a plan for your life, all this stuff? He's like, sometimes prayer and the Holy Spirit are like headlights on a car. And what you see in front of you, the road in front of you, go there. You might not know the end destination, but prayer, the Spirit's going to lead you to see what the next steps are. And sometimes it's scary to not know the end, but sometimes you just got to trust the Spirit and be like, hey, look, I could tell the road's turning right here. I'm going to go ahead and turn right. And I think that's the true in this case. I think sometimes if your calling is to be a youth pastor, it might just be for now. And maybe God calls you to something else later on. Maybe that's always the case. But you don't need to know if it's always the case, and that's okay. That's just where I'm at. So yeah, we both said both and we both tied. Great content. If you were like, oh man, 2025 was the year of polarization, we can't wait to see the ultimate winner. Didn't happen. If this comes out in 2026 and you're talking about the faces behind you, guess what? That's what sidekicks are. So either way, we covered the theme, annual theme, because we don't know when this releases. Yeah. All right, Christian, anything else before we wrap this up?
No, I still think we should do something where we say how they win.
Oh, just wait, guys. Go over to the Systematic Geekology website down below. I might even make this free content because I think people should know who the real winner is. But you got to be an official member. I'm going to stick to that. You got to be an official member. We didn't plan to tie. I hate that we did, but sometimes it's just how the dice rolls, how time works. It's a fixed point in time that we were going to tie. Unless I got it wrong with the numbers on who actually rated whose strength, in which case this could all be moot. But for now, we mentioned there's a redacted bonus segment. It's not even a question. It's a whole segment. And it's going to be such a thrilling surprise. Just wait, guys. Just wait. For now, though, we're going to do recommendations really quick. Mine, pretty simple. I'm going to recommend. I forgot how much I hated doing this. Guys, I'm a Christian who hates Christian media overall. I think most Christian music sucks. Most Christian movies suck. Most Christian TV really, really, really sucks. There's a few, what's the word? Exceptions. Chosen was a good film. No, Risen. Here's what I'm thinking of. Good film. The Ben-Hur, excellent film. Some Christian music I really love. Not most. Switchfoot, though, they knew what they were doing. Reliant K know what they're doing. The people who made the Chosen TV series that I don't like, I think it was done really well. It's just boring to me because I already know the story and they're just doing the story. I don't need that. They made a show that I enjoy, that I'm going to recommend because I actually think it's funny, even though I don't like recommending Christian TV shows. I'm sorry. I just don't. It just feels wrong. The Promised Land. It's a mockumentary of Moses and them in the desert. It's freaking funny. It's accurate. It's emotionally deep. It connected me to the story. As someone who has studied Bible a really long time, I probably could be considered a Bible expert. I read it like more than a dozen times a year. It's accurate. It's funny. It does add some stuff, but man, and the jokes aren't irreverent. And also, it's not just trying to shove the Bible down your throat. It's sometimes just showing the ridiculousness of stuff. And I'm like, man, that is funny. Like the show starts with one of the guys being interviewed being like, I really thought when God parted the Red Sea, we were going to make it to the Promised Land. But then you have times like this, and it's showing Moses struggling to hold up a staff for them to win the war. He's like, I need help. People help me hold this stick up. And I'm like, oh God, wait a minute. This is going to be this. And it was so funny. It's already been approved for season 2. I can't wait. It's so funny. And I went in to hate watch it. Let me put it that way. I went in so I could complain about it, and now I'm singing its praises. So, yeah. Christian, what about you? Recommendations?
Yeah, I actually just started The Chosen not too long ago, and I was expecting to not like it either. But I'm more positive than you are ultimately. But I'll check out that other one too. Yeah. You know what? I'm just going to generally throw out D&D. I just had a session last night. It was a ton of fun. Like, if you can find the right people, and I know that's a lot of work and it's a lot of trust you have to put in people, but it's worth it in the end to create worlds together and have twists and turns for your characters and your fellow party members and the new discoveries you make along the way and the loot you can get, whatever it is that drags you in. I'm more of the role player. That's something I love. And I learned that more from playing the game. Like, you can't go wrong with a good game. Yeah, there are definitely worse games out there and people who should have no business DMing, but that's part of the fun too, is figuring out the right fit for you. So go out in there, play a game of D&D.
Good stuff. I got to ask, is that the shirt that I was never sure that you got, the Priest of the Geeks t-shirt?
Yes, I meant to tell you that I got it, but I forgot because I'm old.
Well, we're both wearing comfort color shirts. Mine's from a different podcast. But if you guys want to check out the merch, I love these shirts. They're not the most comfortable in the world, but they're like, you can tell they're quality made. They are pretty comfy, especially in colder weather. If you're like me and you don't like having stuff on your arms, but you still get cold, comfort color shirts are great. If you're like Christian, I don't know, because Christian never gets cold, but he's wearing it, so he can't hate it.
I only wear short sleeves.
Yeah, so is what it is. So with that, remember that bonus question, just bonus segment, just wait, guys. Rate and review our show wherever you get your podcast. Doesn't matter. If you rate and review it, especially if you give us high rating, it just makes it easier for people to find our show, and that helps us a whole lot. We really appreciate it. It only takes a couple seconds, minutes, whatever. And it goes such a long way, and we really appreciate you guys who do take your time to rate and review our show. We also want to thank one of our financial sponsors, again, Annette. You're wonderful. Thank you for introducing me to Star Trek, Star Wars, and so much more. You're amazing. I love you. And Merry Christmas if it's Christmas time. And Merry my birthday if it's after Christmas. Also, guys, remember you can get your own shout out by becoming an official member of Systematic Geekology with our website down in the show's description. You can find that. You can also find some cool exclusive content, some cool merch, and other ways to get plugged into our community, the Systematic Geekology community. If you want to get more involved, then find more ways to do that over on our website, again, in our description. And of course, guys, we need you to do one extremely, extremely important thing for us. Remember that we are all a chosen people, a geekdom of priests.
Hey friends, it's your pal Will Rose here, and let me break the fourth wall a moment and look directly at you through the camera or speak directly to you in your earbuds. Yep, I'm talking to you, Susie. You too, Chad. You can now support Systematic Geekology on Fourth Wall. That's a website. You'll find all of our episodes, incredible merch like shirts and hoodies and mugs. Chad, I would love to see you in one of those shirts out in the wild. You get bonus episodes. We answer bonus questions. We have special shout outs. We have certain episodes that you pick. So you help us create and curate the content that we put out for the world to hear. You even get free merch. And you can support the show at different levels. You could join at the free level. Yep, we love free members, free support. Join it. Or you could become a sidekick for as little as $5 a month. You could join the elves and dwarves for $10 a month. You could become a wizard for $15 a month, or you could go to divinity school and become a cleric for $20 a month. And that's way cheaper than going to seminary, believe me. Or at $25 a month, you could become a superhero. And let me just say, we love all of our listeners, whether you support us at the free level or the superhero level. We love you. We love geeking out with you. Support, share the show. Love you.
Hi, friends. It's Laura here, and I just wanted to say thank you for listening to our show. Systematic Geekology is a part of a larger podcast network called the Anazal Podcast Network. Dummy for Theology is Joshua Noel's show discussing different theological topics from various perspectives and attempting to give people more questions than answers. My Seminary Life is Brandon Knight's show. It started as him going through what he was learning in seminary, and after he graduated, he's been doing independent studies and has a lot of fun series like on hermeneutics, Bonhoeffer Summer, and worship. And then Friday Night Frights is a monthly show with Christian Ashley and Joe Day. They have a vote on the Systematic Geekology Facebook group to choose a topic each month and discuss everything from cryptos to ghosts to aliens to serial killers and more. So we hope you'll give it a listen, and thanks for being part of what we're putting out there.